Okay, so we're going to find all possible values of cosine of x when it's equal to 1/2 between 0 and 360 degrees. And so the first thing that I want to make sure that you understand when you see it in this format, we are finding an angle. And it is the same as cosine inverse of 1/2 is equal to x, where x is our degree measurement. Okay? So now here's what I do is I got to think about all students take calculus. Cosine is positive in which quadrants? It's positive in the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant. Remember, all in cosine. So that means in order to set this up, I work with two triangles. I work with a triangle in the first quadrant and a triangle in the fourth quadrant. I know cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which makes this guy the root 3 and that guy also root 3. So what angle is always across from root 3? 60 degrees. So this reference angle is also 60 degrees. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in on this picture here real quick. Change my color of my pen. So the rotation in standard position could be 60 degrees. Or it could be this rotation, which is 300 degrees. So cosine of 60 and cosine of 300 both equal 1/2. So those are my two answers. So I look at my triangle, I label the sides based on my cosine value, and then I find my angle rotation. These are special triangles. So we found angle measurements before that are not special angles by using our calculator. We would just do sine inverse or cosine inverse. And so my answers here are going to be my first quadrant angle, which is 60 degrees, and my fourth quadrant angle, which is 300 degrees. And those are my two answers. Next example, we want to find all possible values of tangent of some angle measurement. This is just beta, the Greek letter for beta, and between 0 and 360, and it's positive. So the expectation should be we're only going to get two answers. There are certain situations where we're going to get less than, and next chapter we'll talk about situations where we can get more than two answers. But okay, I'm going to draw my angle, and I know basically what's happening is, oh, what's tangent inverse of root 3? What's that angle measurement equal to, right? I'm solving for the angle. Okay, well, I think to myself, all students take calculus. This guy right here is a positive value, and you probably want to think of this as root 3 over 1, because it's opposite over adjacent. And I know tangent's going to be positive in the first and the third quadrant. So to give myself perspective, I draw my two triangles in those two quadrants, and I know that we're opposite over adjacent. So this would be root 3, this would be 1 and 2, this is root 3, and this is 1. Now these are technically negative, but negative over negative is positive. Okay, once again, what angle is across from the third root 3? I'm going to change the color. Give me a second here. We'll go with black this time. Well, that's 60 degrees. This is also 60 degrees. This rotation, so our first quadrant angle is 60 degrees, so tangent of 60 is going to equal root 3. Then we need this full rotation. So that means I need to take for my fourth quadrant angle, I'm really in my head just doing 180 plus the 60, and that gives me 240 degrees. And those are my two angle measurements. One last example here, then we'll have another video. Find all possible values of cosine of x when it's equal to negative 1/2 between 0 and 360. So once again, boom, all students take calculus. So what quadrant is cosine negative? It's negative in the third and fourth quadrant. because this guy tells me where they're positive. So if all are positive here and cosine's positive here, it's the opposite ones that they're negative. So I then go ahead and draw my triangles. And it's 1/2, so it's adjacent over hypotenuse, root 3. Adjacent over hypotenuse, root 3. On purpose, I didn't want all the root 3's to be opposite. But that makes this 60 and that makes this 60. Okay, we got a second quadrant angle and we got a third quadrant angle. So we got to find these. So this actual rotation is 180 minus 60, and that gives me the 120. This rotation is the 180 plus 60, and this gives me 240. So 240 and 120 are the values of angles that would give me negative 1/2 as my cosine value. Okay? There'll be one more video example after this with a couple different problems, but this is how we're going to find inverses without a calculator.